Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Here we are, the morning of June 20th, 2019. Still dark, but not for long. Newspaper was late. They've been out there at 2:45 or earlier, but today they didn't come until after 5 a.m. some reason, Central Time. You say, well, don't really care about your newspaper delivery schedule. That's a good point. Here is a Canadian whiskey from 1880, Windsor Canadian. Supremely smooth, blended and distilled under strict supervision of the Canadian government. Okay. This is a Beam-Suntory brand these days, although don't look on their website because you won't find it. They've updated their website and dropped this listing, as they did for many of their other products for some strange reason. And here's another one you may as well not look for because Sazerac doesn't have it. They're redoing their website. Maybe in about 10 years they'll have it ready. This is Rich and Rare Reserve. Now, they do have a Facebook page that they continually update. In fact, yesterday they had a new post saying, it's Friday evening, time for some whiskey and ice. And they showed a whiskey glass, rocks glass with the Rich and Rare Reserve in it. So that's where they let their website presence be. This is only from about 8 or 9 years ago, 2010, 2011, not before. It was definitely not on the market before 2010. It didn't get introduced after 2011. So somewhere 2010, 2011, can't find out exactly. Imported and bottled in the USA by Sazerac Company, Frankfort, Kentucky, which is Buffalo Trace distillery, aging and blending and bottling plant, I guess. Canadian whiskey, a blend, also 80 proof. Is this way better than the Rich and Rare? I didn't see where it was. Now it's applique on the label. It's not a sticker. It's just like the stuff is applique. I don't think it's paint. This will run you $10.99 a bottle. I got mine on a real good sale, $9.99. The Windsor, $10.99. So same price. So we don't have prices, no consideration this morning. It's all about flavor. So value, they're both I guess a good value. I think they're a good value. Yes, I would stand by that. Yeah, they're worth buying. Are they world class and fabulous and just the greatest thing? You know they're not going to be that for $10.99. You know that. Now, I've bought some things in this price range that weren't even good. They didn't taste good. That's coming up. I've already done a solo review on it. But, that's how it goes sometimes. Now, which one's going to taste better? My prediction is it'll be a washout. In other words, a tie. It won't really matter. It'll just be, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the Windsor's more honeycomb, young Canadian Club flavor? It tastes like maybe a 3-year aged Canadian Club, which is probably what it is. This is the Windsor. This one's a little more golden. This one's a little more amber. They're Rich or Rare, but it's close. Do they have coloring added? Nice alcohol eggs. These are clean glasses. They may. Canadian whiskeys are allowed to have coloring added, caramel color. Scotch is allowed to have that under the law of Scotland, not in the U.S. Their laws take precedence. Irish whiskey can have coloring added. American blended whiskey can have coloring added. Blended bourbon can have coloring added, but if it's just bourbon and then straight bourbon, and bottled in bond bourbon or a blend of straight bourbons, no coloring or flavoring is allowed. That's a more purified product. Doesn't necessarily cost more though, because you can get a bottle of Evan Williams for $9.99 some places. Straight bourbon, charcoal filter. Yep. Age statement for Rich and Rare Reserve. I don't think it has one. How old is it? Couldn't tell you. Don't know. It's got to be at least 3 years old. Maybe older. Might be 4, 5, 6. I doubt it. Okay, sweet candy corn. Canadian whiskeys are like bourbon in the sense that they're mostly corn, maize, distilled corn. The Canadian whiskeys will also have rye high wine blended in. Rye high corn high wine, wheat. Some wheat, maybe. You say, well, then what's different than Canadian and bourbon? Bourbon is aged in new charred white oak barrels, usually white oak. Doesn't have to be white oak. Could be swamp oak. Could be live oak. Are Canadian whiskeys allowed to be aged in new barrels? Yeah, they just in general aren't. They aged them in used bourbon barrels. And those barrels could be 100, 110 years old. Just keep using them. Canadian whiskeys are allowed to have other flavorings added, like brandy, rum, bourbon itself from America, the United States of America. Wines that have to be aged in small wood, could be sherry, port, things like that, Madeira, Marsala, things like that. So they have a lot more wiggle room. Canadian whiskeys have to be aged at least 3 years. Bourbon doesn't have an age requirement. You say, yes, 2 years, you're wrong. No, you didn't hear me. I say bourbon. I didn't say straight bourbon. Straight bourbon has to be aged at least 2 years. You can just call it bourbon and age it for 2 hours. Would be clear, would have no color. So there's the commonality is the corn, the maize. They say maize in Europe. I was just looking at a British or a German website, and they were talking about this beer uses maize. This one is not as much candy corn. It's corn. Oh, well. I'm going to go to Burger King and get one of their tacos for a limited time. Their corn shells. Oh, this one has like sourdough bagel. Is it sour mash whiskey? Could it be? I don't think so. It could be. That's allowed. That's just a method. That's neither here nor there as far as classification. Well, as they breathe, they're loosening up a little bit. Still get that candy corn, but now it's more of a pungent corn starch. You say corn starch. Yeah. This one, not so much. Okay, so on aroma, do I know which is which? No, I don't. Do not. We had a good hangout last night with the Cabernet Sauvignon wine brands. They wanted to do summer beers next weekend, next Friday. I think I should be available. I would rather do the Shiraz, though, because I have a bottle that's not going to last 3 weeks for the next hangout. But they want to do summer beer. I don't have to do a Shiraz hangout. I'm not going to go run out and buy a bunch of Shiraz wine. Do I know that much? Every Friday night, I'm not going to be doing Fandango Friday. I laid down last night to watch that Astros Rangers game, but I was feeling kind of bad and I was tired and I felt bad. And I said, in the second inning, I was like, I'm turning it off. And I went to sleep pretty fast. It wasn't even dark. Even dark. And I woke up at 2:45. Started waking up at 2, but I laid there. I kind of went back to sleep. All right, taste. It's this is kind of standard flavor. It just has what you would call like a standard whiskey flavor. You say, well, that's a strange way to describe whiskey, to say it tastes like whiskey. What I mean is just common, like a common flavor, just like sweet, kind of candy-ish, high alcohol. It makes sense, 40 proof. You know, you get a bonded one, 100 proof, it'll be a lot stronger, intense alcohol flavor, which I don't necessarily like. Other people are, they would never dream of drinking anything lower than 100 proof. They're like, I wouldn't drink that. I don't drink that namby-pamby 80 proof, but that's fine. Like I always say, you may as well drink what you like. It's your money. But I don't like this guy, Jared, at the Knights of Columbus. He'll bring that barrel proof Elijah Craig. I tried it one time. I said, ugh. I said, it's too strong, you know. He said, isn't it good? I said, it's good. But it's sort of like not finished, you know. They're supposed to be watered down, like literally they add water down to 80 proof. You know, in beers, like they'll say, look, it's not filtered, it's hazy. I know, but it's not finished. You know, that's why they put them in a finishing tank, a bright tank. And that's like the proper way. I know you're going to say, oh, you're trying to put dampers on creativity and the beer world and the liquor. I'm not trying to put anything on anything. I'm just talking about it. All right. But of course you have all this variation today. You have a flooded market. What else are you going to have? It's been building. Well, I mean, it's been going on for 10 years, but it was building to that. You only have so many slots and then you got to fill them and make new slots. And then you say, well, let's see. This is beer made from yeast on my beard. I was like, that's it. You know, when I start reading stuff like that, I said, this is Joni Loves Chachi. This is the Pink Lady and Jeff. This is like a bad version of Disco Fever. It's jumped the shark, you know. And then, of course, you get the recrimination from the defenders of it. Oh, you're wrong. You're trying to. I'm not trying to limit anything. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? I can say what I want. Of course, you're going to have people being super defensive when they're talking about craft beer is a movement. I say a movement. You mean like libertarianism or communitarianism or patriotism? It's a movement like that. It's a philosophy. Wow, I'm glad that I could have a detached view. To me, it's like this whiskey. It's products, consumer products, and I taste them and tell you what I think. There's so much alike. They're starting to cross over. There's candy. There's rock candy. Nectar from a honeysuckle, which is making me think honeycomb, which is a calling card for Canadian Club, which is making me think this is Canadian Club, meaning, in other words, 3-year age Canadian Windsor. Now, people claim this. I mean, but they never provide a source, like a definitive proof. Like they said, you know, Old Crow is just a young Jim Beam, a 3-year-old Jim Beam. I said, how can you prove that? They'll either say, well, it just is, idiot, look it up. That's really not citing a source. Or I've had people say, well, read this magazine article. So online magazine, whiskey details, blogger, whiskey-details.com. And then they'll have an article about it. But then they don't cite a source. Well, like, well, that's just somebody saying it. Where is the proof? Well, he read it in Jim Kybockel's Whiskey Guide. Jim Kybockel said it in the Whiskey Guide, 1999. But where did he get the information? And then sometimes people say, you're just a corporate shill. You work for the bank. You work for the man. You're a running dog lackey of the corporations. I'm like, that's not citing a source. Calling me names is not citing a source, okay? Like somebody might say, oh, well, I don't believe they landed on the moon 50 years ago. I think it was a scam. And then you punch him in the face and say, that shows him, hit him again. Not exactly a way to back up your contention. You can hit somebody, but that doesn't make your point correct. Does that make sense? Or somebody questioning some historical fact and say, I'll put you, it's against the law in my country to ask that question. I'm put you in jail. That'll show you. Well, you could have them arrested. Maybe they'll be persecuted. But I don't know. Seems to me if something is so true that it's unquestionably true, you say you ask too many questions. No, I'm just saying, well, why would you have to put somebody in prison for asking a question? Like somebody might say, well, I don't think Welch's makes their own jelly. I think it's fake. They buy it from some other company. Well, you don't put somebody in prison for saying that. It might be ridiculous. Like you say, well, they have their own factories. Folgers coffee is owned by Welch's. They have their own brew houses for coffee, whatever that's, coffee mills. And you say, no, we can't have those kind of questions. You're going to prison for asking about production of coffee. I don't know. It just seemed like it would make people even more suspicious about maybe the man is right. Maybe he knows something. I don't know. I'm a curious person, and if you put people in prison for asking questions, it makes you wonder if they're on to something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I read too many books in the past in high school, like Animal Farm and 1984 and all that. They had us reading those books. They were like, here's a warning against totalitarianism. Be on guard. Be on guard. Of course, now I think the pigs are running the farm, you know. Okay. I think it's a tie. What I mean is they both taste fine. They're not elaborate or fabulous, but they're not bad. I don't see how somebody could drink either one of these talking about how bad they are. They're actually good, you know, like literally good, objectively good. I am right now going to announce this. These two whiskeys are good, and I am unanimous in that, as Miss Slocum would say. So you have no choice. You must agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, you wear a tinfoil hat. Ha, ha, ha. Now that makes me right because I said, I called you names, see? See, that's how it works. If you call people names, then that makes you right. If you ask questions about the earth and people can just call you names, say, shut up, stupid, and that makes them, see, that's science today. That's science. Ask a question about climate, call people names, that proves your point. I don't know, but to me, being a sort of a bright-eyed kid, you know, they're going to make a meal of some bright-eyed kid like me. I just always thought you back up science with like facts and proof, but that's probably the old way of doing it. the old way. Okay, so but now so they're tie in quality. Good. Good, 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 good. And I have no favorite. I like them both. If I never had them again, I wouldn't miss it. It'd be like no big deal. But if I had to drink them every day, I wouldn't get tired of it. You know, it's like that kind of thing. Just fine. A lot of things are fine in this world. They're fine. They're fine. Now, can I tell them apart? Oh, been dithering and trying to delay talking about questions and going to prison and all that. Yeah. Trying to get a handle on it. I think this is the rich and rare reserve, and I think that's the Windsor. Well, I'll know because one's going to say R and R, and the other one's going to say W. Oh. But it's so close that it's almost not even worth talking about the differences. You know what I'm saying? You say, well, one's Beam-Suntory and one is Sazerac. You know, that's not the same company. I understand that, Henry Hostile. I said it isn't a practical difference. Oh, well, me, oh, me, oh, me. Now, with the Canadian Limited, I think that's going to be easy to tell them apart. I don't think Windsor Canadian tastes anything like Canadian Limited. I think it's going to be like a snap. That's a snap. All right, W, whoa, almost screwed up. R&R, rich and rare, rest and recreation. Oh, please be. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, heck yeah. Let me tell you something. I can come on here any time of the morning I want to come on. You can't judge me because you can always. Well, that says W, and I swear W stands for Windsor. Makes me so angry that I got it wrong. I'm so mad now I could tear a tissue and crush a grape. That's just not right. Getting it wrong like that on the internet, not telling them apart. That's just not right. But that's the way it goes. I take the risk going out here live. You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? You hear? Felt funny about it, but I thought I would get it right. But that's all right. I don't care. 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 That's just not right. All right, Master Yorny says, hey, Ron, when you go and eat with friends, what do you drink then? Oh, water. Literally, when I go out to eat, I like to drink water. Preferably tap water. I don't like bottled water because it tastes like swimming pool water to me. And maybe I'll have some coffee after. Or I might drink iced tea, you know, sweet iced tea. But I'm not a big drinking alcohol going out person. Now, if I go to Knights of Columbus Officers Installation Banquet this year, which I'm sure I'm going to go to, I would assume they'll have all kind of wine. It's not expensive. You know, they're buying it over there at Mathern. So I'll drink some of that River Road, whatever wine, red, white, doesn't matter to me. Drink those. They'll be making mixed drinks. I don't want to drink that before I'm eating. And I'll have a little wine, but I'll just drink water. Oh, they're going to have bottled water. I mean, oh, no, they don't drink tap water. They drink bottled water, which is, I drink Dasani. I don't drink that. Of course, Dasani is tap water from Georgia, Atlanta. They just put it in a bottle and people drink it. Ooh. But it's amazing if you frame stuff, right? Pour it out of tap, people spit it out. Pour it out of a tap into a bottle and put a nice label and give it to them. They'll drink it down. Oh, yeah, real water. But I'll just drink water and a little wine if I go to that installation banquet. You know what I mean? I would enjoy that. Natty Island. Oh, Island Natty says, hi, Ronnie, 24/7. Ever hear of Thunder by AC/DC? Of course. Go to any sporting event, they're always playing that. Why you like to watch the windows on the left and scratch your eyes? Because my eyes itch and I like looking at windows. Certified kosher, laugh out loud. Like red noses, laugh out loud. That was a Jefferson Airplane song, Frozen Noses, that they didn't release. Probably RCA Records listened to that song and said, ain't no way we releasing that song. You can imagine what it's about. And then Grace Slick says, everybody needs some orange sunshine in their life. I said, oh man, they were caught up in their substance exuberance. Having to settle for Coors Light in Australia because Banquet is unavailable. That's sickening, Saxon Shore, because Coors Banquet is so much more enjoyable. And what's more enjoyable in Coors Banquet? Coors Extra Gold. And even in America, most people can't get the Extra Gold. Do you feel me? We can't even get the Extra Gold in most of America, and it's way better than Coors Banquet. Now, explain why. I don't know. Seems to me they would sell it. People would buy it. But I can't explain these unexplainable brewery issues. Well, anyway, that's it. I'm going to watch the news. Coors, well, he's going mad. Rich and Rare Reserve, Windsor Canadian. It's like a flip-flop. Whatever one you want, either way the cut goes, you're getting basically the same thing. So that'll be the theme of today. It's fine. It's fine. Hey, you know what? It's fine.